And like magic, here we are. Good evening, dear friends. So happy to have you with us tonight. My name is Nicholas Viselli. I am the artistic director of Theater Breaking Through Barriers. And if you happen to see our first show at 7:30, I can repeat, yes, indeed, we are coming to you very, very live from right here, deep in the heart of the Thunderdome, right here in glorious and gritty Midtown Manhattan, right on 42nd Street. And on behalf of all of our artists, I want to cordially welcome each and every one of you to Theater Breaking Through Barriers' 6th Virtual Playmakers Intensive, or VPI 6 Star Changers. This has been such an exciting time for us, my friends, because we have, I think that I think we're getting better with this one, you know, like every time we do our online intensives, I think it gets a little bit richer and a little bit better every time. The collection of work that we've amassed in this VPI has been extraordinary on many, many levels. And I mentioned earlier about the tightrope that everybody has to walk here, because there are so many different things that have to come together in order to create the work that you see. And yes, all of it is work in progress. No one is claiming that this is all finished, polished work. Everyone wants to create the work, to display the work the best way they can. So it's just so rewarding to see this large group of artists come together and create the stuff that you're getting to see. We had a wonderful show last night, and guess what? We have a wonderful show tonight, an amazing show, as a matter of fact, by the ridiculously talented Richard Lear. You, for those of you who have watched our intensives before, you have seen Richard perform. He's performed in many of our virtual intensives, and of course, some of our live work as well. And he has such range, and he always transforms himself. He's just a really great actor, and surprise, surprise, he's a great writer as well. His play is titled "We the People," yeah, if you didn't see it the first time around, yeah, hold on to your hats. You're going to love this one. Very gripping. It was directed, exquisitely by Fred Backus. Fred, yeah, another one of these guys that just does everything, and you just are, it's like, wow, is there no end to the talent? And he's just wonderful, and directed this so beautifully. So again, those of you who watch our intensives, you have seen Fred perform earlier on. He was in our very, very first show for this intensive, a wonderful play by Jeff Tabnick called "Dead Torsos Shed No Tears." This has a little bit of a different tone than that one, though. And a stellar cast: the amazing Shashi Bangera, Carlos Guillermo, Everett, Quinton, need I say more? And of course, the wonderful Zen Theo. So before we begin, I'd like to ask our artists, for the benefit of those who are tuning in who can't see us, to provide a bit of audio description so that they can set up and say who they are and the characters are playing, maybe a little bit of a description of themselves. So artists, would you please take it from here?
Thank you, Nick. Hi, I'm Everett Quinton. I play Isaiah, the defense attorney. I'm sporting a shaved head and wearing black rimmed glasses. I'm wearing a black suit and a black high collared shirt. I'm also wearing a teal colored chiffon sash accented with a black stripe. I'm also adorned with a black, red, and white medallion, as well as black and white epaulets, denoting my rank. And as to my background, I'm standing on the bridge of a spaceship, which is hurtling through starry, starry galaxies.
Hi, my name is Zen Theo. I play a character named Jay. Jay is a middle-aged, middle 60s Caucasian male. He has a full head of white hair. shaven face, glasses with gray rims, and he wears a black shirt with short sleeves.
Hi, my name is Shashi Bangera, and I'll be playing Lavender. I'm a South Asian woman with long black hair, light brown skin, dark brown eyes, wearing glasses, and I'm also wearing a long sleeve black shirt.
Hi, my name is Guillermo, and I am playing Prospero. I am a Latino male. I have a shaved head. I have dark eyes and a close cropped salt and pepper beard. And I am wearing a dark colored V-neck t-shirt.
Sounds amazing, doesn't it, folks? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to keep you waiting. Without further ado, please sit back, relax, and enjoy Richard Lear's We the People.
Standing in a futuristic courtroom, Isaiah, an attorney for the movement, is in the middle of his defense.
12 years ago, an advertisement posted all over New York City read, if you are tired of executives earning millions of dollars while you break your back to survive, if you are tired of your healthcare insurance company denying your claims while they rake in major profits, if you are tired of having your jobs outsourced to other countries so your employer can save money that they give to their executives and shareholders, sign on to wethepeople.com on March 22nd, 2042 at 7 p.m. Do not share your name. Do not turn on your camera. No one can know who you are. Thanks to new technology, we have recovered the data from that meeting. This is the recording.
Isaiah turns his screen off. Jay appears on the screen. Everything is in a black and white film noir style.
Hello?
You were told specifically not to turn on your camera.
I don't care if anybody sees me.
Others do. You need to leave.
Look, I'm legally blind. I can't see you anyway. But it seems to me that if you're sincere about doing something, you'd want to know who you're dealing with.
Not knowing anyone's identity is the only way to keep everyone safe. You need to leave.
Prospero turns his screen on.
I agree with him.
Don't turn your camera on.
I can't imagine what you're going to propose will be legal. I don't care. I was just kicked out of my home. I have nothing left.
This has to be anonymous.
The only way to know this is for real is to see everyone's face.
If we remain anonymous, then no one can trace anything back to us.
And how do we know there aren't cops here? Or that someone might anonymously tell the cops?
I agree. Everyone needs to turn on the camera.
No.
My son died from an opioid addiction. The drug company made a $13 billion profit last quarter. The Sackler family introduced Oxy in 1995. They've been killing people legally ever since, and our leaders do nothing.
I'm sorry for your loss.
We're here to do something about it. Don't feel sorry for him. Don't get me wrong, man. Losing your son was terrible. But they won't stop if we don't do something.
No offense taken.
Lavender turns her screen on. They all take each other in.
I've been thinking about this for some time. The only way to get someone to pay attention is to drop the problem in their lap. Opioid addiction is a low-hanging fruit.
What do you mean?
Senator Hawthorne has taken $752,000 from the Sackler family. He sponsored a bill that prevented anyone from suing them.
So, We go after him?
Not him, his wife.
What do you mean go after?
His wife jogs Central Park every morning. We need to injure her.
You gotta be a member to get into Central Park now.
I can take care of that.
What do you mean injure her?
We need to break her foot.
Okay. First off, how? And second off, what is that gonna do?
One of you are going to step on her foot and make her fall sideways. You will do it right at the old Columbus Circle entrance. If it's done right, it will cause a hairline fracture. There is an empty doctor's office across the street. You'll carry her there. I will give her what she will think is Tylenol for the pain. It'll be an opioid.
One pill is not going to cause addiction.
Let me finish. I will x-ray her foot to make sure it's broken.
Are you a doctor?
I used to be.
How do you get into the office?
The guy I'm dating is the property manager.
Is he a part of this?
Yes,
Where is he?
he couldn't be here.
Why should we trust him? Or you, for that matter?
I'm taking the biggest risk.
Then what?
I will show her a healthy x-ray. I will tell her that she strained her ligaments and she can take as much painkillers as she likes. I'll wrap her foot and I'll tell her to stay off it for the rest of the day and to ice it. I will give her a bottle of what she will think is a mild painkiller. It will be opioids.
She'll know who you are.
I've already created a fake license.
I create signage. I could create a sign for your door.
But she'll know the address and link it back to your boyfriend.
What if we use chloroform?
Oh, no. I like the idea, but how do we do it and not get sent to a penal colony?
The office has been rented, and the new occupants move in next month.
Good. I like deadlines.
Where are you getting the opioids?
I have a connection.
Are you assuming the new doctor will just say, there's no one here by that name?
Yes.
I have to think about this.
Are you backing out?
No, I just have to think about the logistics. How do we contact each other?
Let's plan to meet in 3 days.
Same time?
Yes.
Their screens go black. Isaiah appears on screen.
Ladies, gentlemen, and others of the jury, this was the beginning of radical change. When it became public news that the senator's wife was addicted to opioids, the defendants released a statement to the New York Times claiming their actions. From this, people across the nation and soon after the globe started joining the movement. I ask you to realize that most of our species would not exist if it were not for these three people. Everyone on this ship would have perished on Earth as the wealthy fled to the very planet we are heading to now. The 1% had already destroyed the Earth out of greed. They paid no attention to the warnings about climate change. If there was money to be made, there was no cost too great. Because of these people all over Earth, others started carrying out the same types of guerrilla warfare. Security would look the other way, sometimes assist in the abduction of the 1%. Bank employees routed money from their oppressors to secret accounts, where the money was redistributed to those who needed it. Like some of you in this chamber were the recipients of these actions. Did they go too far? Some think they did. However, without them, where would we be? We were only able to reclaim the data from 3 of their meetings. I present the second video, 4 years and 6 months after their first meeting.
Isaiah turns his screen off. Lavender, Jay, and Prospero appear on screen.
The Koch family has turned off the water in 5 major cities.
People are dying. We have to stop them.
We have someone on the inside now.
Ooh,
The child's nanny.
Do we steal the child?
I'm not stealing a child.
We have to get the child.
I'm not stealing a child.
I'll steal it.
You're gonna make that child pay for the sins of the parents?
The only religion the 1% worship is extreme capitalism. What they're doing is greed, and they believe there's no consequences for their actions.
You're gonna steal a child.
No,
Then what are you doing?
I'm going to have the nanny make sure the child drinks the water the Koch family destroyed.
You're gonna kill him.
The Koch family killed hundreds of people when they started fracking in the early 2000s.
The child didn't do that.
Neither did the parents of those children that died from tainted water.
It's a baby.
I understand how hard this is for you.
No, you don't.
I know you watched your son die.
What if we make the entire family drink the water?
How do we do that?
We get an engineer on board that can reroute the water through their pipe.
Don't they have multiple houses?
So?
Do you think it can be done?
You're gonna kill the entire family.
What if we have the nanny abduct the child and take it somewhere safe?
Well, that would make me happier.
That child's gonna grow up to be exactly like its parents.
You don't know that.
The only way to make anyone change is to make the problems theirs. Are we in agreement?
I'm in.
I'm fine with abducting the child.
We'll need a safe house for the child. If we can get several, that'll be better.
How many do you want?
At least 3. That way we can move him around if need be.
I'll find them.
Perfect. Come back tomorrow night and let me know what you found.
I'll work on finding an engineer.
I want to talk more about that. We'll see you tomorrow, Prospero.
You want me to leave?
I assume that you would need to start hunting for safe houses.
Well, I just feel like you would...
Don't worry, Prospero. We're all in agreement.
All right. I'll see you both tomorrow.
Prospero turns his screen off.
We're not abducting that child, are we?
No, we're not. The whole family dotes on that baby. They need to see it die.
I agree.
I still want the engineer to reroute their water. Do you think we could send the clean water to the people?
It would have to be done secretly.
Make it happen.
Do we need to worry about him?
No, he'll come around.
I hope you're right.
I haven't been wrong yet.
We'll see.
Their screens go black. Isaiah appears on screen.
This was the beginning of many murders. It was a modern French Revolution. The 1% started hiding. They paid their security details exorbitant amounts of money. Sometimes they would pay large sums of money for protection only to be turned over to the movement immediately after. The 1% cracked down on the people and tried to jail them. But there were too many involved for it to work. I asked the jury to notice how Prospero did not want to do what was necessary. We know he complied, but what he did with great compassion. Imagine where you, the jury, would be today without these 3 people. Did these people commit crimes? Yes, they did. However, when crimes are being committed against you on a daily basis by people who have more money than you have, by people who can afford to pay off politicians, or can hire lawyers to drag cases out in court until the plaintiff has no other choice but to give up. Is it a crime to defend yourself? Are these crimes? Or is this self-defense? Without these people, no one on this ship would be here. We would have all been on Earth when it collapsed. Each and every person on this ship is free from errors of the past. Education is taught to all. Healthcare is a right. And we have created laws to stop greed and wage disparity. This is the last recording I will present to the court.
Isaiah turns his screen off. Lavender, Che, and Prospero appear on screen.
What is wrong with you?
Calm down.
I told you he couldn't handle it.
You never intended to save the child, did you?
No.
You said you wouldn't hurt
The
the...
loose cannon.
What, are you going to kill me too?
The child isn't dead.
Yet.
Prospero. If you look throughout history, the children of the oligarchs have rarely contributed to society.
Rarely doesn't mean never.
Before this continent was invaded the first
I
time,
know my history. You're asking me to be an accomplice to murder.
You're already an accomplice to murder.
That was different. They were adults.
Murder is murder.
I can see I've pushed you too far. What do you think we should do?
Stop feeding the child the tainted water.
His kidneys are already shutting down. Stopping now is not going to save that child.
Is that true?
Yes.
Is he in pain?
Yes.
That water causes all your organs to fail. That's what happened to my entire family in the North Territory.
What should we do, Prospero?
The only thing you can do is kill him. Stop his suffering.
That child's suffering is what's creating change within the Koch family.
They left the country. They're never going to change.
They will if we publicize the suffering of that child.
We're not publicizing what we were doing to that baby. Prospero, what do you say?
I don't want him to suffer. We have to kill him.
How do we do it?
Opioids.
The screens go black. Isaiah appears on screen.
Our ancestors believed that Christ was going to return. Allow me to read a quote from the King James Bible. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. In a way, a child did. But the movement had grown so large by this point, there were only a few oligarchs left. I remind you that every person in this chamber celebrated this people before they knew about the child. These people are why we have hope. It is because of them that we are flying to the new planet. You know, I ask you to make your decision now, either to release these people, the founding individuals of our new society, into space, or take them off cryosuspension and allow them to lead their lives. I understand that some of you believe that they went too far with the child. But he was not the only child who was murdered. We just don't know who killed the others. If you cannot find it in your way to let all these 3 people live, I ask you to spare Prospero. His actions were an act of mercy. Before you enter your decision, I ask you one more time. If someone is starving you for their own greed, is it not self-defense to stop them by any means you have available?
Screen goes black.
That is amazing. Really, really like, oh. Thank you guys so much. Such wonderful work. Please come on back on. Let's talk about this. Shashi, Fred, oh my goodness. Zen, Carlos, Everett. And where's our author? Where is he? I know he's here. There he is, Richard Lear. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I love getting the great joy again. Getting to see this twice is wonderful because I mean I read the plays, I've read them all. I think they're great, but to see them performed, it just is obviously a very, very different experience. And getting to see it twice and really getting to see the a little bit more of the detail and the nuance and the work that you all have created is it's really a great treat. So and everyone, here we go. Tucker, the great Tucker Sullivan. He hopped on before and didn't get a chance to talk. Tucker, what are your thoughts about this play? What did you think of this one?
It was my favorite one.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That's incredible. Well, got to say, so far, Tucker, you got 2 more to go here. So, but I think that puts it in a pretty good steam here. I mean, I really love this work, everybody. Everett, I'm going to start with you because I didn't get a chance to talk with you as much during our first hour. I love to see you play a role that has a lot more seriousness and gravitas, because you're such a wonderful, versatile artist. And, you know, clearly the work that you are most known for, that we get to see you do most, is work that is not necessarily of this caliber. Comedy is, of course, where you know, that's sort of your wheelhouse, and being able to create these really fantastical characters and wonderful stories. I mean, aside from the words, I know that's always a thing. How does it feel to shift gears in a role like this?
You're just grateful to get to do all kinds of fun things. It's not, I mean, I've done it's not my first foray into.
Oh, of course not. Of course not.
Drama.
Clearly.
No. This is just a wonderful play. I love the drama, especially seeing it in the last few rehearsals, just seeing that steamroller going and then getting on to the wind and a joyful time.
Yeah. I mean, I do love trial plays. Like when you think of all of the different trial plays, you know,
You have to have one of those boing, those things with the TV show, the Law and Order. Boing.
Yes.
You know, when you think of like plays like, To Kill a Mockingbird, King Mutiny, you know, take your pick. There's so many. There's just the Andersonville Trial. You know, I just find it so interesting because they all, obviously they all come down to that morality of man and humanity, and what is justified, and how far do we as a society allow ourselves.
But morality is a phony concept, and we have been drowning in the falseness of the nonsense of morality since day one. If morality worked, Cain wouldn't have killed Abel, and if morality worked, the first war that was fought would have been the last one. So the rich and the powerful beat us up with the fake, what is it? Who does William Barber calls it? The fake, I forget, whatever the word is that they look at, don't say gay. That piece of shit is a dog. Daring to talk about other people's morality. That piece of shit should hang his head in shame. And when I say you got no ideas, beat up the queers, and that's as old as day. And that's what this play is about, to me at least. I mean, it's also new, and I haven't gotten all the things that are in it. But the idea to be able to commit these, eat the rich. Didn't you say that, Carlos, that you saw Eat the Rich, and then
Kill the rich.
Kill the rich, but it's Eat the Rich, the same thing. And the oligarchs have power, and they've always had power, and we've been able to hold them at bay until the scumbag Reagan. And then the scumbags have just tumbled onto us. And I'm not gonna hold my tongue. I have no use for them.
Everett, believe me, that's okay. You got to say what makes
that's what makes this play so powerful. And then what am I calling it? Well, who the fuck knows what I'm calling it? I'm just sick of it, and I'm glad there are plays to talk about it.
I think I'd like to sort of talk about the American dream, the twisting of the American dream, right?
American nightmares, sweetie.
Yeah. I knew that was going to touch a nerve, because I mean, in theory, this idea of you can come from anywhere and you have the opportunity to create a life for yourself, and then
not unless it's if you smell like garlic. That's what they got the Italians and the Greeks, sweetie, with the garlic and those days.
And being a person of color as well, it's like the whole idea of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps is a ridiculous myth. That as if no matter who you are, you could do this.
Oligarchs dehumanized the Black people in this country for their money, and then this has been passed down to us for years. Ask these nose pickers about dehumanizing people in the world, and you get that scumbag in Florida. You can beat up dehumanized people.
It's really awful. It's others are always the easy target, right? If you're an other.
Thank you. If you're another, and then but the thing is, you got morons who will vote against their own interests.
Yeah,
the bozos.
Tell us how you really feel, Everett.
I know. One time I saw a thing with these bloody Ku Klux Klanners, and they had a baby in a Ku Klux Klan suit. No, someone should have stepped in and taken that child away. But that kid is going to grow up to be so fucked up. And the American dream, the American nightmare, darling.
Yeah, I completely get it.
And this play speaks to me. This play speaks to that in me, and it's constant in being barraged by this nonsense of. Who said, what do we get, $60,000 an hour, $67 an hour?
I did.
Yeah.
If minimum wage. If minimum wage had gone up like the raises on Wall Street, Reich said that it'd be like $67 an hour, which would be over $120,000 a year for minimum wage.
But you know what? In 7-Eleven, the oligarchs of the 7-Eleven, they won't let you get overtime. They'll let you go and apply for another shift at another store.
Right.
But they won't let you pay. They won't pay you unemployment overtime. So And then these poor bastards, and you see these immigrants work so hard with so much humility. They break their backs to sustain themselves. And here we are, the good Christians.
Yeah.
Well, but what happens is the oligarchs pit us against them. You know, the whole idea that jobs are being taken away from you, you know, by these people. And the biggest questions you have to ask is, they say that these people who are coming over who are working, day labor jobs, when was the last time you were working one of these jobs, and when did this person take a job away from you?
Thank you. Thank you. When's the last time you picked a head of lettuce?
It becomes so easy to thank you. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
That's such a funny line.
It's a it becomes so easy to instill fear. Fear is always the great thing. It's that idea of your world as you know it is going to come to an end if we allow this, right? Or allow these people or these others to pollute our world. And they can come up with all kinds of bad word, but trumped up evidence about that, and it's all just all it does is it just feeds the fear, and I just, we've gotten to a point in our world, I believe, and this is sort of what we talked about in the main discussion of how this concept for this intensive started, of the idea of being able to reason with each other on a rational intellectual level. That is gone. We cannot do that now in this world. The only way we can, I believe, as artists, the way I think the best way for us to do it is to create it in our art, to be able to evoke an empathy and a feeling that people can walk away with it in here, so that then it can process in a different way. It's, I think that's why I love this play and why it succeeds. Everett, I love the fact that this play hits you in the way it does, and that it raises your ire in this way, because that shows that it's good theater. It works. It's very, very hard to live in a world where you want. Well, we live in New York City. I mean, yes, people say we live in a bubble. The fact is, New York City is indeed a melting pot. You see all types of cultures and all types of people, all others living together, and
but the provinces are right around the island, sweetie. Come on, don't give them too much credit.
Oh, no. I think part of the issue though is when it's one thing to be living in a place where you live on top of each other and you see it. You may not like it, but yet it's like, this is where you choose to live. It's different than when you live in a small town in the middle of wherever, and the threat of others coming, invaders coming to your town, that becomes a much more, it's a much easier sell in the terms of like pushing the fear button. So it's, I just, again, I think this, there will be people who will see the work that we did here tonight and agree with it, and people that will disagree with it, and that's okay. That is absolute. That's art. But I think generating the discussion is what makes this so great. Again, I want to now. I have to ask the rest of you, and again, I'm going to start with you, Shashi, because you had talked in your earlier in the last show about sort of the issues experiences that you have had that have really raised, a lot of the stuff that happened tonight.
Yeah.
From your perspective, is there what's the answer? What do we do? How do we get through this? How do we change our stars?
I mean, like what you said, it's through our art, because like I think that's the only way we could address to people, because like, I mean, I've spoken about this like many times before, like especially within the disability community, it's like we struggle so much to be seen, to be heard, and like even in this platform, it's hard for us to be there because like we don't get these opportunities. Like if you think about it, like in Hollywood, the A-listers would play roles that are meant for us, and we don't even like we're like less than 1%. They say, oh, 1%. We're less than 1% to get roles, and we don't even get that. And it's like it
Yeah.
it's a struggle. Like we're fighting to be seen and be heard, and to
Mhm.
have like this, it gives us an opportunity to
Yeah.
say, hey, we're here. Listen to us. Listen to our stories.
Mhm.
So,
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Again, not to, I don't want to, toot TBTV's horn too much, but I think
yeah,
I think for our company, you know, I think part of the idea is you want to be able to do by example. It's one thing to talk about, you know, level playing field, being able to treat everyone equally and fairly, and to be able to, in our case, to be able to celebrate and elevate the brilliance of artists and performers with disabilities. But you have to practice that.
yeah,
You got to walk. You got to try to be the model. You got to try to be what
yeah.
you change.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like you see it in like you go to auditions and they're like, "Oh, we're for representation," but then they're like, "Oh, we'll cast someone else." Like it's not that hard to be in a chair. I'm like,
right.
look at what's going on, like
Mhm.
so.
Mhm. I just find it I find it fascinating. And again, there's a lot of elements,
Yeah,
especially when you qualify as an other in several categories.
yeah,
That just makes it maybe a little more challenging to cast you, because people just only see you as certain ways. They will only cast you by basically by what they see, as
yeah,
opposed to, yeah, it's awful. It's awful. Zen, I want to talk to you because as a wow, I mean, you were born and raised here in the city, and you were raised again from a family of immigrants. So you've had an opportunity to see a whole, like years of a lot of whatever struggle and oppression. However, what what are your thoughts on any of on all of this? As opposed, like, what is it like now as opposed to, say, I don't know, 60, 70 years ago?
Yeah. Well, I could take you back further than that. When my father was a child, he and his brother were fighting every day in order to survive, literally fighting. This is back in the 19 teens and 20s. They
Mhm.
were called greaseballs and geeks, and they had to fight in the streets in
Mhm.
order to maintain their own dignity and self-respect. Uh, for myself, uh, I saw all of the older generation struggle, push carts, selling hot dogs. And one of them, my Uncle Charles, had one leg, and he came here married to a beautiful woman, and he pushed a hot dog cart for years until he saved enough money to buy a little diner on the docks on 12th Avenue, right near the river.
Wow.
And I'm talking little diner,
Mhm.
you know. And then he saved enough money from that in order to buy a home in Patchogue, Long Island, near the beach.
Wow.
And he struggled and sweat all his life, and he was a sweetheart of a man. But he did get to do all of that. I could tell you lots of stories from my family. I was fortunate to have parents who were very Americanized, and so I learned Greek and English simultaneously.
Wow.
And I was ostracized in school because of my eye condition. A lot of kids made fun of me. A lot of kids ignored me like I didn't exist.
Mm.
My eyes looked strange. I had no vision in one eye. I got called lots of names, which I don't want to repeat. And I had my share of street fights, some that I won, some that I didn't. But every one that I was in, I got out of with pride and dignity. So, you know, I was treated as an other for a great deal of my life. It's amazing. I'll just tell you this one quick one. After several eye surgeries where I had lost all of my vision, I was legally blind. I was totally blind for about a year. And I'm sitting in the living room with my wife and two friends, good friends who had been friends for many years. And they're talking about what we're going to have to eat. And my buddy says to my wife, "So what do you think Zen wants?" And I said to him, "I am blind. I haven't had a lobotomy. You can talk to me. I still have a brain, you know?"
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to go on any further about that. What I
No,
do
no,
want to
no.
go on about is this play that I am sorry this version of it is over, because we could have gotten better and better and better at it. I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
I know Richard is turning it into a full-length play. I can't wait.
Yeah. It's really, really exciting. Again, I think it's wonderful. Thank you so much, Zen. Carlos, I need to ask, I need to talk to you about all of this as well. I mean, for many, many reasons. You sort of, you know, you were sort of there because, I mean, because because both you and Richard are married, you're partners, and you've had this opportunity to sort of watch him developing this piece, and then you became a part of it, which I'm so grateful for. What is your immediate visceral response to this work?
I mean, it really touches a nerve. You know, it's very relevant right now. What I was saying before, after in the first talkback, is how I was walking down the street in Chelsea, and a sign on the side of the wall said "Kill the rich." So you already feel like something is stirring. You know, like the tide is changing. I think
Mhm.
people have had enough, you know, and they are desperate for change in some way or another, and it's kind of time that you level the playing field, you know, and sometimes the only way to do it is to just tear everything down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a tough one, you know, because revenge, you don't really want to think about those things, but sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's going to take something, you know, a big ticket item to kind of really institute meaningful change.
You're absolutely right. And I mean, we saw a flash of it during 9/11. You saw a time when there was
Yeah,
a few weeks, a few months when people sort of felt this sense of unity.
yeah,
It was sort of a group fear,
yeah,
and the most important belief, which is what we've been saying every night now. All we have is each other.
yeah,
We have to be good to each other. We have to realize how important, how interconnected we are. That's a, and yet that is a fatal flaw in humanity, because it becomes so easily forgotten.
absolutely. Yeah,
We've lived in, there have been civilizations and periods in our history when we have established a much, I won't say full equilibrium, but something that resembles equilibrium a bit more. And yet someone always comes along and builds a hill and says, nope, that's, you know, we're all equal. Some just happen to be a little more equal than others. And that is when things go awry. And now that is a human flaw, I think. I don't know can we change? Like, can we change? Is that possible?
I hope and I cling to that hope, but little by little, every day, the news that I hear, it kind of erodes that hope a little
Yeah.
bit. It's
Yeah.
scary.
I'll buy that. I know it. It's hard. It's hard to, you don't want to watch the news. You don't want to hear the news. I mean, you don't, and then you do, because we've now been conditioned out again after 9/11 of like, I got to see what's going on in the world because anything can happen at any time. And I want to, I'm waiting for that other shoe to drop.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just, it's like, how do we do this? How do we do this?
Human creature is the failure in the evolutionary process, and we need to top to that and just live with it till the
Mhm.
till the blast happens and we'll wipe it. There was a thing about if you took the human creature out of the planet, the
Mhm.
planet would regenerate itself in 6 months. If you took bugs out of the planet, within 6 months, the earth would crumble. So there you have it. We're predators. I want to write a play called Who's the Vermin? Who's the vermin here? We call everything else vermin.
Yeah.
Cats are vermin, roaches are vermin. We don't see our own vermitude. We don't cop to it. We don't
embrace the animals that we are.
Thank you. One time I was working down in DC and it was the same time of the year and the early March was so hot that all the daffodils bloomed and it was gorgeous. They were too quick. And then we had a freeze like we just had today. And on the news, someone was upset about the daffodils and someone said, oh, what are you worried about the goddamn daffodils? And I thought, well, if we paid more attention to the daffodils, we'd turn more attention to each other and we could love each other as we're supposed to. But we're led around by the nose by morons who feed us morality pablum. And then
I was actually just talking to Carlos about the Native Americans that when they would make a kill, they used every single part of that animal.
Right.
They thanked the animal for the sustenance it would provide. If you could travel back in time and tell the Native Americans, don't trust the white guys, where would we be right now? I mean, what would our planet be like?
Yeah, we could hold them up. We could hold them up too, but they also had lousy hunting techniques where they would rush whole herds over cliffs for one buffalo. So humans are humans.
Yeah.
We try, some try, but unfortunately our failure is catching up with us in leaps and bounds.
And it keeps perpetuating, like we keep making the same mistakes, and that's the hard part. The fact that no matter what we try, I mean, please don't get me wrong, we must continue to keep trying. I think you have to be no matter how hard this is, and it does get harder, you have to do your best to be the example and live it every day. The little things that you do in your life that you do for strangers, the good and bad, you do good things, you do bad things, they have repercussions, they ripple.
Right.
You do something good and it affects someone and that ripples. So imagine if we all had that ability to say, you know what, let's put everybody ahead of us. And I'm not going to worry about me because because everybody else is worried about me. Wouldn't that be kind of a cool way?
What we have left is our vote. Get out and vote. Don't vote like your life depends upon it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we have. That's what we have to do.
And be kinder to everybody. Just be a little bit kinder.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that.
Fred, I need to give you the last word. I mean, you've been so wonderful, and I love what you did with this piece. And I happen to be friends with you, so I know how you feel about all of this, and I think it's pretty clear in how you've created and how you've helped to direct this, but what do you have any final thoughts to share about not only this play, but what we can do better? What can we do better?
That's a tall order. I mean, I'm sort of with Everett in being a bit of a Hobbesian, that you know, I don't think we you know, I think, you know, at our core we're a pretty brutal species in a pretty brutal life, and we keep trying to make institutions and structures to alleviate that, and we also make institutions and structures that exacerbate that.
Mhm.
And yeah, like you said, just keep trying and find the humanity and the art and the inspiration in between the cracks of it, which is art, which is theater, which is what the type of thing that we all do, you know. While these horrific forces are crashing into each other, we all we can do is, as artists anyway, not as activists, but as artists, all we can do is reflect it, try to talk about it, and celebrate the life in between. You know?
That's great. Yeah, we have the ability as artists to conjure, to make people feel, not just think. Part of our problems and our problem, as I say again, I'm sorry if I say this every night, one of the biggest issues with us is our greatest gift as a human animal is our brain, our supercomputer, our ability to create multiple languages and create all this. It's a wonderful computer we carry around, but it gets in the way. It's a double-edged sword. It sort of inhibits our ability to feel the instincts, the you know, the things that make us human animals. Oftentimes get short-circuited by the brain. You know, the person who stands in the street in front of a rushing car, instead of running, they say, I wonder how long I can stand here before that car is going to, you know, and you go through all this stuff. And that is part of our issue, that ability to feel and to look closer, to slow down, and to be able to take each other in a little bit. Because I think if we were able to take an extra half second, we might not make so many mistakes that we make every day.
I actually, if you look at other species, I don't think that other species climb on the backs of their species the way that we do. You know, I think that that's a very typical trait of the human animal, that we climb on each other's backs. And what I find strange is, you know, when I was a kid, I had a Disney coloring book, and it was Scrooge McDuck. And Disney made fun of him for being a hoarder. And it wasn't a good thing to be so wealthy. You know, you can look at Ebenezer Scrooge, all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And then you look at, I mean, when I was a kid, when you had physical education or even you know, anything in school, part of your grade was your sportsmanship, your ability to be human, to be humankind. And you look at Gorsuch, who refused to wear a mask because Sotomayor has diabetes and wanted to be present for everything, and asked if the other judges would wear a mask, and he said no. And it's like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. This
is not the value, the humankind that we all claim that we are. Mm-hmm. You know, I think that we've just gone off the rails. And what I love is that my little 15-page script has created this conversation that has gone all over the place.
Yep.
About the human animal. Mm-hmm. Supreme Court has never had much credibility either. Yeah. Go back, it's not new that it has not lived up to its credibility.
Wow.
I believe it was FDR that threatened to put 15 judges on the court. Mm-hmm. Because they were all being political.
Yeah.
You know, I think that we have to weed out. We have to figure out a way to stop anybody in power from utilizing that power to become ultra rich, and and B, we have to stop people from being able to get to them to push through their bad ideas.
Yes.
So, but then at the same time, then you say, but what about all of the good ideas that need to be pushed through? If we stop, it's this scale. How do we balance that scale? And that's actually what I want my play to say, is not this is what we do. The question is, what do we do?
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Wow. The earmark of good art is that ability to allow you to feel, to ruminate, to think, to give you something to really. This was a satisfying meal tonight. I look forward. I hope that everyone that has had the opportunity, the good fortune to see this, will digest this and really allow it to process in their minds and think about it. I mean, I think so many of the answers are so simple yet so hard, and I don't know what to say. That's just sorry about the paradox, but it's just the way it is.
Nick, could I make one little quick comment, please?
Please.
This play is so deep, it takes you all the way back to Aristotle, who said there were three purposes to the theater: to educate, to entertain, and to purge the emotions. This play does all of that beautifully. Richard, you have a gem here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zen. I'm so flattered. Thank you.
Yeah, very much a play for our time, and as much as I hate to say, for times to come. It's I don't like to sound pessimistic, but I know that if nothing else, a cautionary tale to help people realize that we've made these mistakes before, and these are problems that have not yet been solved, is always a good piece of work. So thank you all so much. Really amazing.
Thank all of you. Thank you so much.
Oh no.
Thank you.
Thank
Nick.
you.
And I want to thank all of you for watching, for tuning in and being a part of our work. That your presence and your attention is really our most precious gift, because as actors, especially live theater actors, we need the audience. The audience is a necessary part of this because it creates that exchange. When we're all in the room together, it's that live feedback that allows us to know that we're connecting, and that those responses move the evening forward and change everything. It makes it truly a unique experience every time it is performed. So I hope that you will continue watching, even though you're not in the room with us. We know you're there, and that means the world. So please, I hope you'll continue to join us. Go to our website, tvtv.org. You can find out everything about TVTV, past, present, and future plans. You can also see our past intensives. For this intensive, those plays are not yet up on our website, but if you go to our Facebook page or our YouTube page, you'll be able to see the work that we've been able to create over the last 2 weeks now. Tomorrow night, we have another wonderful play by another wonderful group of artists. The play was written by Nina Key. First time Nina worked with us is this intensive. And if you had an opportunity to see our production of Enrique Huili's The Interview, Nina was acting in that. And again, this is just an incredibly gifted artist. And so tomorrow night, we're going to see Nina's play, Noesque, Noese, as in like no escape, right? That's pretty much what it's all about. It was directed by Rihanna Bassour. Now, Rihanna, you haven't even seen Rihanna during this intensive, and I'm so excited because you're going to get a double dose of Rihanna. Tomorrow, you're going to get to see Rihanna's directing chops, and then the last night, you're going to get to see Rihanna act in our final night's play, which is Rinaldi Kamat's play Humans. And so I hope you'll tune in for both of those nights. Tomorrow night's stellar cast, Subin Kara, Jennifer Bradley, and Brie Klauser. That is No-esque tomorrow night, 7:30 on YouTube, 8:30 right here on Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and we will see you tomorrow night, 7:30 and 8:30. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Over here.